Very good morning, friends. So, back with a new lesson and a new chapter that we'll be dealing with today is the Mother's Day. It's written by J.B. Priestley, and during our web classes, also in the ERP, we have been discussing about it. And basically, I want you to understand this story in a proper manner because this story deals with one of the most, you can say, uh, prominent factor in our society. It's something to do with our society. So, if you understand in a better manner, I'm sure already we have made a lot of progress as per the issue that has been raised in this story by J.B. Priestley. It was written a long time back, but it is still persisting. The issue that has been mentioned over here, still persisting. And I want y'all, that especially your generation, to focus on it and ensure that you also add up something for the betterment of this cause. It's a very interesting story, very interesting story, and if you think from the bottom of your heart, it is equally, you can say, a very sensitive issue, emotional as well as sensitive. But it has been written in a very humorous, in a very humorous manner. Correct. Humorous. This is what I mean. It's written in a very humorous manner. This story, Mother's Day, actually revolves around the life of a mother. This story has been taken about one nuclear family, but basically, this family is depicting all the other families in the world, whether more or less the similar scenario persists, and in many parts of the world, still continuing it. We need to eradicate it. Okay, now, Mother's Day, that is a chapter number 5 from your snapshots. It's written by a very famous personality called Mr. J.B. Priestley. It's very important that you understand the background of this gentleman. Mr. Priestley had, you can say, a very illustrious life or career. Very illustrious. Why I'm using the word illustrious? Your life becomes meaningful only not by your personal achievements, but if you are able to contribute something for a good cause. Mother Teresa, illustrious career, you can say. Only when you are in a position to do justice to your life, justice to the knowledge that you have gained, justice the observations that you have made, justice to the experience that you have gathered, then your life becomes illustrious as well as meaningful. If not, it's just like any other life. So, my dear friends, we need to make a life illustrious and at the same time absolutely meaningful. Now, we'll first discuss about Mr. J.B. Priestley, a very famous personality. He started his career as in the military, and he served in the World War One. Now, that means he had that quality in him that I need to make my life illustrious as well as worthwhile. Let me do something for my country. That's one of the basic ideals we can have in us. It doesn't mean that only you need to go to the army to do something for your motherland. There are so many other factors, causes by which you can contribute. Say, for example, let the whole world throw dirt and garbage on the streets. You don't do it. maybe 10 people will take a leaf out of your book and they will also stop throwing it. These are the ways by which you can contribute for your country, moving on the right path. So he chose to serve for the country, and he took part in World War I, served a good stint in the army for 5 years. It's a pretty long stint. And he was fortunate enough to imbibe some very good qualities by being in the army. Number one, he became very disciplined, which obviously he was, became polished, and his respect towards ladies. If you look at it, Army teaches you three things: to be absolutely polished in your behavior, full of discipline. It is the right kind of code of conduct for each and everything. Going for dinner, you have your dinner suit. Going for your lunch, you know what? Table manners, how you use your cutleries. Every time something is served to you, you say thank you. Though you are paying the bill for the food that you eat, in spite of that, you say thank you to the waiter. Everywhere, the etiquettes matter. So when you become disciplined, well behaved, and polished, automatically the degree on the map, or you can say the graph of your etiquette, goes up and up and up. And that is observed and respected by all in general. So these are the qualities that he learned while being in the army. After he left army, he decided to gather as much qualifications so that he can get a deeper knowledge about the things that is happening in the society. Correct? So what he did, he went on. After leaving army, he went on to do his graduation from Cambridge, Trinity Hall, Cambridge, right? But at the same time, parallelly, he was also writing, you can say, novels. He was writing short stories, correct? He was also writing lyrics, essays. He was doing a lot of literary work because he knew after leaving army that pen is another weapon through which, without fighting any wars, you can have a greater impact on the society, on the people. So his hunger for higher education, learning more and more books, was quite pertinent from the fact that he was a deep learner, had a deep interest in learning, and he wanted, because all these things, he was preparing himself to do something for the society. Right. So after completing his graduation, he more or less settled down using his pen to highlight the important aspects that was happening in the society. And through his pen, through his columns, through his novels, through his stories, he started making an inroad into the minds of the people. He was succeeding also. But what is very impressive about him, that at very early age, that is at the age of 30, he had become a master as a critic writer. As a critic writer. Now, who's a critic writer? It's not easy to become a critic writer. A critic writer is a person who has or does a very good, thorough study of the subject, and then he tries to come out with his remarks, not comments, remarks, his observation. Right? right? So, for example, when any novel is released, there are so many critic writers around the world. They all give their comments, remarks, correct? Some will say, oh, somehow I feel the ending should have been different because of so and so and so reason. Now, all these things are possible only when you have gone through the subject on which you are going to give your critic remarks, as well as the issue which has been dealt in that particular piece, say novel or a movie, anything. You must also be thoroughly aware of all those issues, must have a very wider concept. You should not have a biased mind. Okay, I don't like this writer, so I'll just give my comments, not remarks. It has to be very logical, as well as it should also have the mind frame of the masses. It's not only your idea, it is a generalized idea that is perceived by the masses. Then when you come out with your critics, it is accepted, respected, and sometimes because of these critic writers, many plots have received a better position in the society. A better, because a debate also starts after that. And mostly because of the help of the critic writers, the issue is also understood in a better manner. So this is all about a critic writer by the age of 30, very young age. I must say, it's actually a very young age, because you need to be very experienced, you need to be very matured, you need to have a lot of observations, you need to have a lot of knowledge, you need to have a lot of exposure pertaining to the particular topic on which you are going to come out with your remarks. It's not just, okay, I didn't like this movie because somehow I feel. No, there is no such word as called I. It has to be correlated with the practicalities that is there in the society. You have to connect it. You have to connect it. And then when the connection is there, you get connected with the masses. And when you get connected with the masses, you get respected. People can make out. People, the readers are also not fools. They know, okay, what you are writing, what you're commenting as a remark, they are logical. So at the age of 30, I think I'll wipe out all this. At the age of 30, he had become a very renowned critic writer, but his hunger for education had not died. He decided that, okay, fine, I got a graduation degree from a good university, say the Cambridge, and where were you? Graduation degree from Cambridge University, and so he decided to pursue further degrees and all. And you'll be very, very happy to note that in the later part of his life, you can say recent, but of course 50 years back, in the year 1970, the University of Bradford felicitated him or honored him with a doctorate of letters, and also the freedom to stay in the city of Bradford. Now, when such kind of awards are felicitated and given to you, when you become a very respectable person, every country in the world or every city in the world would like to own you, because the name will go as a milestone for that country, or you can say the city. So you can just make out how he built his career and how he made it illustrious, as well as something to be remembered for. That is the background of this gentleman, Mr. J.B. Priestley. Now, getting back to the story, which is called the Mother's Day. Okay, now why Mother's Day? Mother's Day means the life of a mother, as it's called Mother's Day, singular. So, the life of a mother of a day. On which day the mother is absolutely free to do anything that she wants to do, free to roam around, free to go out, do shopping, sleep, and do whatever, no household chores and nothing to be done. Okay, this is what the mother has done in this story, and that's why it has been called as the Mother's Day. Okay, so sorry, there was this thing. That is why it has been called the Mother's Day. If you just remember, connect it with a movie called Baby's Day Out. Now, why it has been called Baby's Day Out? For a day that baby was out on its own, not under the care of his parents, not under the care of his, say, governess, not under the care of anyone. No guardian was there, and the baby enjoyed its day, roaming around from here and there and creating all kind of nuisance. Or the baby enjoyed his day, no restrictions. That's why the title of the movie was given as Baby's Day Out. Similarly here, the title of the story has been given as Mother's Day because for a day the mother had done things without any restriction, without any headache, without any botheration for any kind of obligations. She just enjoyed, basked under the sun, and enjoyed her life for a day. There was no responsibilities attached. She did only what she wanted to do. No restrictions, no guidelines, no SOPs, stand operating procedures, nothing. Okay? That is why the title of this story has been given as the Mother's Day. Now, this story has got basically 4 members of a family. For an example, this family has been put in the story. Okay. And this family consisted of the Pearson family. The Pearson family. This family had 4 members. The husband, George, the wife, Annie, the daughter, Doris, and the son, Cyril. Right. So, this is it. The story is all about this Pearson family, where George is the husband, Annie is the wife, Taurus is the daughter, and Cyril is the son. Now they're all adults. Adults means above the age of 18 years. Okay. Now they had a neighbor called Mrs. Fitzgerald. A neighbor and a good friend of Mrs. Annie Pearson. Her name was Fitzgerald, but the only difference was as Mrs. Annie Pearson had a family, had a husband, had a son and a daughter. Mrs. Fitzgerald was all alone. So as she was all alone, I'll remove the R and I will just write Miss Fitzgerald. Okay. Now, Mrs. Fitzgerald, being a neighbor And whenever as I had said that they were all adults in the family. So when George was working, he was a bread earner for the family, whereas Annie and Doris, they were all grown-ups adults. They were all going out the university, the colleges, and they were all busy. So you can say that after the household chores were all finished, done, because the wife, Annie person, was a housewife. She was not working anywhere. So once all the household chores used to get over, she was all alone. Then she used to go and chat with her neighbor, Mrs. Fitzgerald, just to do a little bit of socializing, something that all of us need to do, relax a little bit away from the four walls of the house. So that is what she used to do, and sit with Mrs. Fitzgerald, and they used to talk about various issues. So, in short, you can say Mrs. Fitzgerald was fully aware of what was happening in the house. She was fully aware of what was happening in the house. She was fully aware with the behavioral pattern of the entire family members. She was also fully aware the amount of love, affection, care the housewife or her friend, Mrs. Annie Priestley, was having for the family members, the amount of love that she had for the family members. She used to invite also, and she used to love it also. But there was a point of contradiction between the thought process of these two ladies. That is why two ladies have been taken into this context, so that you can compare the mindsets. Mrs. Fitzgerald was a kind of a lady who wanted her life to be worthwhile. She didn't want herself to get bogged down or chained by, the routine work of life, where ultimately one day you perish and you die, and nobody remembers you except for your own family members. Nobody remembers. The world doesn't know you. The society doesn't know you. Oh, she was a good lady, but good for what? What is the contribution? There's no contribution, right? So she was a kind of an independent lady. But before I use the word independent lady, I should say a person, because every person on this earth wants to do something worthwhile in their life. So she was an independent person, whereas Mrs. Pearson was a person with no needs. Her entire, you can say, life dependent, keeping her family together, well knit, happy. That was her only goal. So she was actually confined to the four walls, and her thinking was also confined within the four walls of the house. Whereas Mrs. Fitzgerald was an independent lady. She was an expanded and a broad-minded person I'm using, not a lady. And she didn't want to get confined. That is why, you'll find a lot of people in this world. Some people have different opinions, but of course we are all independent to, thought is independent. We are all independent to make our own observations. But I'll tell you, there are certain people whom I really love and respect, and I keep them in a very high esteem. For example, one of the characters you can have is from your film industry is Sushmita Sen. She's a single mother, right? She has adopted one daughter, and she is very happy. She has not married because she feels, why marriage? If I marry, as per the Indian society and all, I'll get bogged down, and I'll have to do the household chores, and the men, they, no matter what happens, they will suffer from the male chauvinism, and there'll always be clashes. And if there always be clashes, what will happen? I will not be able to come out from this web, the household chores and the clashes. And so recently what will happen, the freedom and the room that she has to make a name for herself, see, she went on to become the Miss Universe or Miss World, whatever it is, correct? So her mindset was not that of a general person. The mindset of Susmita Sen is that she wants to make a name for herself, wants to make her life worthwhile, wants to become, and she feels it's not necessary. So I have a lot of respect. You also have one lady, some Nina Gupta, who was also has a daughter. She's a single mother. She's living, And she's quite popular. She's also an actress. She keeps coming in movies and all, and she has made a name for herself. She doesn't have anybody's name and all. Okay, she's once as a wife, and that is why she's famous. No, not at all. She has made a name for herself. So, like if you look into the other aspect, the broader aspect of this ladies, you will feel proud of them because they have not got themselves tied to the social taboos, and they have killed or murdered their, you know, the very nucleus of their freedom, or the freedom to live happily in this world. They're all career oriented. So that is why this Miss Fitzgerald didn't click with the husband, and she didn't have family. She was staying all alone. Whereas the family of Pearson, actually, this family has tried to depict a common family that we see around the world. Now, this kind of scenario that has been depicted by Mrs. Pearson was very, very much prevalent all parts of the world. And especially if you go down to this Latin America, you'll find, very sorry, extremely sorry, but in many parts, like say Colombia, Peru, the women folks in the family, they're not given the proper status or respect. It's a sad thing. So there are so many things around the world where the women are only considered to take care of the children, cook the food, wash the clothes, wash the utensils. That's it. It's not in India. If you look at it, India is very far ahead in this respect and this aspect. But in many parts of the world, when you go out and you see and you interact with them, you will find that it's a very, very sad scene, and you feel very sorry about it. So this was written long time back, this story. In fact, the author, J.B. Priestley, died in the year 1984. It's been 16 and 20, 36 years. But still, the mindset of the society has not been able to come out of this taboo. This is what this story is all about. They have discussed about one of the most prominent social taboos that has been prevailing in this world. So this is how the story will open up. So my dear friends, so with this we come to the end of this class, and in my next class we will be talking about the story, and then we will also be discussing about the theme of it. We'll also be discussing in details about the each and every individual characters in the story, and of course what message it has tried to give to us. That is very, very important. So until so long, let's get back again for the next video where I'll be explaining the other part of it, and all these videos and all, every now and then I keep uploading it. In the videos, when you go to the academic section in the ERP, go down to the classroom, and when you go to the classroom, look for the chapter, and in the chapter, the very first circle or the icon that you get of the red of the YouTube is for the videos. When you click, you can get the videos, all the videos. Whereas the next, that the pen icon, that's for the notes. So very soon I'll be uploading the notes for this chapter also, but once we finish, then only I'll be uploading it. And when I upload any assignment for you in the ERP, I'll be informing you, and then you can look into it, solve it, send it back to me in the ERP. I'll correct, and we can get back and have a discussion also. So long then, have a great day, enjoy yourself. Sayonara. Bye bye.